be a Chuck, okay? What are your options? You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to catch this wave, what are your options? Let me just present to you the options of opportunity. You can start a business, one that you found yourself. I told you I spent $3.5 million, but usually somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million that you have to find a way to come up with, get bank loans, get VC funding, get angel investors, friends and family, what have you. Now, once you put that money in, understand that 90% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. So you have that to look forward to. Here's another thing that people don't understand when they become an entrepreneur and start a business. The amount of money that it's going to take and the amount of time that it's going to take before they can finally get to a break even and then maybe a positive. The experience that it takes to be successful that they don't have. The competition threats they're always under. The marketing that has to go on that they have no idea about. The technology that they have to constantly be innovating on that they have no clue about. The employee management, healthcare, theft, liability. All those things become unexpected, but they fall into your pathway. Another option is you can buy a typical franchise, one that requires you to sign a franchise fee and give them a big boatload of money, and you get this cookie cutter sort of solution. It's anywhere between $100,000 and $1.5 million money. The benefits is there's standardized systems of some sort. You get a little brand awareness, you get a little, it's easier to get a little bit of financing, and there's a little bit less risk of failure. But 1 in 3 go broke. So you still have a 33% chance after you spend the money that it will fail. And these are the things that most don't understand. What you really bought was another job, and probably a pretty crappy one, where you're playing janitor and cashier and babysitter all day. You have little control, ongoing franchise and royalty payments, employee management, theft, liability, and the rest of it. Okay? Third option is you can become a contractor, and we are becoming, as a nation of contractors. So people who once had a job, companies are laying them off and then hiring them back as contractors for just small portions of time to utilize their skill and not have to pay for the health care and the Medicare and the Social Security costs with it. So contractor is a viable option for people. Here's what you don't understand. You better have 6 to 12 months in the bank. In the bank, ready to pay all your expenses. Some of the benefits are, yes, you are self-employed, you can set your own schedule, and it's a little bit of a flexible lifestyle. What you don't expect is it's really hard to get your name out there. Referrals take a long time. Every morning you're waking up unemployed, there's no residual income, you're not building any asset, and what it takes for self-motivation and discipline, you certainly aren't ready for. Then there is what is categorically called the Direct Selling Association, where on a tax code, this is where this would, call it whatever you want. Call it a franchise network, call it a distribution network, but direct selling is the category that we would put what you guys have the opportunity to look forward to. So in this, there's no significant investment. $1,000 is ridiculous. You don't have to come up with any original idea. You don't have to do any research and development. You don't have to manufacture the product. You don't have to package it. You don't have to label it. You don't have to inventory it. You don't have to fulfill it. You don't have to take back returns. You don't have to staff accounts receivables, accounts payables. You don't have to have computers and technologies and forklifts and shelves to put the product in the inventory. You don't have to do any of that. All of that is done for you. Warren Buffett, who now owns 3 direct selling companies, of all the investments he's made. Now, we know he owns Coca-Cola, he owns railroads, he owns some of the best brands in the world. He says the companies in his direct selling portfolio are the best investments he's ever made. Stephen R. Covey, the late, great Stephen R. Covey, said direct selling helps affirm people's worth and potential, opens up a whole alternative income stream, make a huge difference in their life. It's where entrepreneurial opportunity, where people begin to use their talent and their passion towards a greater good. What you get a chance to leverage here is what Andrew Carnegie called OPI, OPM, OPE, which means other people's ideas. You see all these founders that started Yoli? You don't have to have that original, fantastic, awesome, amazing idea that they had. You get to leverage their idea. Other people's money. You know the many millions of dollars that they poured in to making this company get to the point that it was at. And you've heard Robbie talk about the roller coaster ride that they had, where they poured millions into it, and then started to lose millions and had to pour millions more in order to get on the other side of this ride, you don't have to take all those risks and endure all that pain. Other people's energy and effort. This is, I think, probably the greatest leverage that you have in this business model. So instead of 100% of your efforts, you carrying the burden that if you do the work, you get paid, and that's the only time you get paid, instead of making 100% on your efforts, you get to make 1% on 100 people's efforts, or 1% on 1,000 people's efforts, or 1% on 10,000 people's efforts. And I think your comp plan is even more beneficial than 1%, right? That's what's called the ultimate in leverage. It's kind of like this. A lot of people think Thomas Edison made his fortune by inventing the light bulb. Not true. That is not where Thomas Edison made his fortune. He made his fortune by building a power grid. And so now, every time in any place in the continental United States somebody flipped on a light, Thomas Edison's company got paid. So that's essentially what you're doing here. You're not becoming wealthy because you're buying and consuming the Yoli products, or even just your own personal customers. You're building a distribution network that can span across the United States, and now I understand in different regions around the world. And so now anytime somebody decides to place an order or make a shake or decide to get in shape, it's like flicking on a light switch, and all that revenue surges up through into your company. The ultimate of leverage. The other dream of the entrepreneur endeavor is this, residual income. This is the entrepreneur dream. And not many businesses have the vehicle for residual income. Do you realize that Michael Jackson, last year, Michael Jackson made more money than at any time when he was alive touring during Thriller? Because his assets continue to pour residual income. That's the kind of scenario you have here. Or Harry Potter, or Star Wars. These properties, once built, continue to pay over and over and over again. You can also sell or will your distributorship to your benefactors. A lot of you don't know, but I built a direct selling company myself. I was in the field, sitting in a chair, just like you, for years. Started out with nothing, with no friends. Nobody would talk to me, right? Building a meeting in my local marketplace. And then I built it to 100,000 representatives that was doing $50 million in revenue, paying me many millions a year. And then I decided, to sell that distribution network for many more millions of dollars that paid me over 5 years, many more millions, because the residual income, without anybody even operating it, continued to pay. So that's an unusual business model for entrepreneurship. And you can earn what you're worth. It doesn't matter your age, race, creed, color, sex, gender, height, width. None of that matters here, which is, I think, one of the great equal opportunity situations there are anywhere in the world. And in direct selling, the average income is 5 times more than in any other entrepreneurial endeavor. Also, flexibility and control. You want to go to your kid's recital, you want to be there for the soccer game, you want to donate some time to their class, you want to go on a vacation at a moment's notice with your friend. You can't do that in most any other places, even if you're an entrepreneur. I mean, if you're in the real estate business or you run a retail store, you can't just pick up and go like that. But in this type of business model, you can. And I think probably 2 of the last important aspects to this business model by comparison. You got to remember, I don't have a horse in the race here. I'm just a third party looking at the entrepreneurial landscape in general. Peace of mind. Can't be fired, can't be laid off, can't be downsized, right-sized, or outsourced. And this is the, and by the way, Obama's your partner. There are many tax incentives for the self-employed and for the entrepreneur that are not available to employees. They're trying to stimulate the #1 employer in all of our economy, which is small business. And the last most important piece is this, I think. For me, this is what I love about this business model. That all you're doing all day is trying to make a positive difference. Either a positive difference in somebody's health, wellness, and vitality, Or a positive difference in somebody being able to take back financial control, get their dignity back by being an independently run life. And so your ability to make a difference in people's lives here versus like most anywhere else out there in the landscape of entrepreneurship, that is your primary profession, is to make a difference. And that's what this model encourages and makes available. So I ask you, now is the time of greatest opportunity, no matter what you choose to do. If not this, if not YOLing, if not now, what? Seriously, what? If you can't make this work, I'm telling you, there's a problem. Stop looking. Stop questioning. Like, just wholeheartedly commit. Somebody asked me backstage, they won a prize, they asked me a question, if there's one thing you could tell me that would be most important to my business, what would that be? And I said, okay, you want the one thing, here it is. Be here a year from now. And, wait for it, do the fundamentals along the way. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. The only thing you can do is screw it up. So, it is as simple as that. Because here's the deal. Functionally, this business is crazy simple. Functionally, it's very easy. This isn't architecture, this isn't engineering, this isn't software development, this isn't project management. Functionally, share the product, share the opportunity, bring people to events. Functionally, this is crazy easy. Here's the problem. Emotionally, it's very difficult. So if you can just handle the emotional ride, as Bobby Jones pointed out, the dip along the way, and just continue to do the basic functions for a year block of time, I promise you, you'll get to the other side and realize the success that you so desire. But too many of you in this room, and this breaks my heart, because you left your homes and your offices, and you packed your bags, you got on trains, automobiles, in a hotel, and you got in this room. And statistically, 80 to 90% of you won't be here a year from now. Breaks my heart. So, all you have to do is commit to be here a year from now. That's it. And then, do the fundamentals in that year. Don't look around, don't question, don't complicate it. If you just do those two things, I can tell you from experience, I've sat in your chair, I've helped many other people sit in your chair, that's all it takes. You get on the other side of all those roller coaster emotional rides, and you'll have the success that you desire.